Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are we all? It's Friday, and it's the first full day of the election campaign. It's been so exciting. Or has it? How are you all? How do you all feel about it? How do you all feel? Let's just kick straight off. How do you feel about 6 weeks of drudgery? Or do you see it as 6 weeks for some really meaningful politics to be talked about? Because whatever they say doesn't mean they'll do it, as we've discovered in the past. It's the whole thing is hearsay, really, isn't it? Even if they hi April, even if they say we will do X, Y, and Z, doesn't mean they will. It's a little bit like NADS with this is a true story or this is based on a true story. Doesn't necessarily mean that it is. Good morning. We are going to be missing Lee Peart on the piste this weekend. What a shame. But new ones are coming. Tossers, says ADC. Yeah, there we go. Tossers. Boring, says Lynn Sheard. 6 boring weeks, says Jackie Valina. Drudgery, says Stuart. Yawn, Siobhan Jordan. I see it as a 6-week countdown to my birthday week. That's a nice way of looking at it. And then for your birthday, it'll be over, and that will be the gift. Morning, Faith. Hope you're well, sweetie. Sending you love. Good morning, Shoshana. I'm glad I've recently signed up for the postal vote, says Julie, the singing nutcase. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's going to be 6 weeks, says Ramona Soroldi, of annoying ping-pong promises and completely ignoring their failings. I've loaded up on aspirin, set my screen time to no more than 30 minutes a day. I know. I mean, I think the part of it all that I'm a little bit confused about is how none of them have even paused for a moment to consider that everyone's bored by them all. I mean, politicians in general. It's like they haven't stopped for 1 minute to even think that they're so in the bubble. You hear it all the time, don't you? The Westminster bubble. They're so in it, but they don't realise no one cares. But people want to care. They think that if people don't care, it's because they are sort of, they're kind of, lazy politically, or they're not motivated. Quite the opposite. Politicians are the most boring people, says Sandy, because they say the same fucking thing, all of them. They trot out the same lines with just different things called words. And we're going to talk about words. So what we thought we'd do is, we don't know how this is going to shape out, as with it. Great thing with YouTube, you never know, you just chuck stuff out and see what happens. We thought we'd take a sort of slightly lighter-hearted approach to it all. We thought we'd just look at it through the bottom of a bottle of Baileys, which makes it even murkier than ever. Have you noticed that people listen to the comedians and laugh at the politicians? It's funny, isn't it? It's funny. Edward Bevington, as Bill Hicks said, watch Gladiators, everyone. Yeah. They're barely gladiatorial, are they? I mean, you've got 2 incredibly sort of reedy men in suits on one side, and then you've got on the other side. Which one was which? Which one's this? That's one in one corner, and then on the other corner you've got Country Pumpkin. Could you imagine trying to get a straight answer out of a politician at a pub quiz? They don't care about people, only their careers. Well, they do. It does feel like that. I mean, there are some. Look, I mean, Nads and her 4, her Himalayan buddies, Hannah Buddy, they've had a politician really helping them. When they do get behind something, they can enact change. It's just, it seems to me that the vast majority of the time they get behind completely the wrong thing. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the funny images that have emerged from the first day on the campaign trail. Oh, no less, the campaign trail. So here's Rishi. I don't know if you noticed, those 3 camera men in the shot are not photographing him. They're photographing someone behind him. I can't work out if he's kind of marching or whether he's stuck. The guy on the bottom right is going for a uber dynamic shot by going low. He didn't realize quite how low he had to go to get that dynamic shot. That's him landing in Inverness. This is him. This looks like he's about to say thanks for chucking Suella Braverman into that huge concrete sort of, ravine. because here it looks like he's done a dodgy deal. But this is the most unvisual place, isn't it, for your first set of photos? Let's call election. Let's meet let's meet round the back of a sort of dogging festival. And have you sorted out Sawalha? Yeah, thank you very much. There he is. He's going, oh, look, that's a voter. He's absolutely astonished and agog. He's like, is that a voter? The guy on the right's like, it's not one for you, mate. It's not a voter for you. Here he's like, I really like your hats. Really like your hats. I love the way that hat just throws off your orange eyes. He's saying there. The guy on the far right, the guy in the suit with the tie is still obsessed with the guy that he thought was a voter. The other guys are like, who is this guy? They look like they've been are they Tory MPs who've just been rolled into sort of overalls? And he's like, but yeah, I just love the colour scheme of your hat. Here he is having a pint at the most miserable pub garden, I think, in the country. He's like, oh, hi. Everyone's like, good God, is this really the place for a press junket? Look at that. And then he's like, hi. And then look at his arms. What's happened to his arms? It's like he's given up. He's like, oh, I really want your suit. I want a suit like you. And the guy on the right's like, get me out of here. There he is. He's like, oh, look. So that's a tree. Oh, we don't get trees in rich land. He's in a world of his own, isn't he? How fake is that laugh? How fake is that laugh? He's going, yeah, no. Yeah. He's not listening and he hasn't taken it in, but he's asked, what have you said 3 times? And he can't ask it again. Yeah, such a fake laugh. But meanwhile, over in the other camp, Keir Starmer with his Keir Starmer's hit upon a campaign slogan. Now, what is the definition of a slogan? Is a slogan a statement? Is a slogan happy birthday, Kayla? I can see happy birthday coming through. Sorry, darling, it's quite hard once we get cracking to pull out, but I'll try and remember to do your birthday at the end, sweetie. Happy birthday, Kayla, there. Happy birthday anyway. So is a slogan a word, or is a slogan a phrase? Or is a slogan a snappy kind of, just do it, say, Nike slogan, yeah? Short and snappy. Okay, well, Labour's slogan is change. That's it. His word is change. And he's like, that's it. What do you think? Look, there's lots of people all around him holding the word change. He's really, really got on board with the old Union Jack, hasn't he? He's like proper kind of like geezer guy. He's like, look, this is change. Can you see change? He's like, look, I'm not wearing a tie. He's like, I've changed. Look at my hands. These are the hands of a man saying, I mean business. Between these hands, our country is going to be, and I'm just going to rim it. I'm just going to absolutely look after it. He's like, look, come on, give me the chance of change. And he's like, oh, Angela. And Angela's kind of not sure. You can tell, can't you? You can see in the back of her eyes, she's like, I'm not sure about you, Keir. I'm not sure about you, Keir. It looks like he's really hurting her. In a certain, I'm not saying he is, but do you know what I mean? So change what? Who said that? Change nappies. Meanwhile, Corbyn's still going to run. This is him having a crack at one of Beyonce's new version of Blackbird singing in the dead of night. This is the weird thing, right? So Jeremy Corbyn, do you want me to open up about my sort of torrid affair with Jeremy Corbyn, how I was with him, then I was without him, and now I feel bad because I want him, and all that kind of stuff. But I saw he's still going to run. He's going to run against Labour, and I think that's a really good thing. I think it's a great thing. I think anyone who can run against Labour, run against Labour. It's not because we want the Tories in. I just think we want to send a huge signal to everyone that no one's interested. How? Okay, me too. I know you're and a number of people here. You believe in the vote. How can we send a signal to all politicians that we're not interested in any of them without somehow voting for them. How do we do that? It's a kind of problematic thing. So anyway, so I thought this is the way. Maybe there's something in this. So Jeremy Corbyn is going to run where he's a prime, where he's a minister, in Islington against Labour. I think that's great. That's great. So you'll get someone in. He's got our sort of you're pretty much the same right values, all that kind of stuff. He's been slurred, he's been maligned, he's been falsely accused of all sorts of things like anti-Semitism. So YouTube, on the ballot, vote for the independent. There is always at least one indie on the ballot, but can't there some of those indies a little bit, aren't they a little bit? Well, mind you, they're all a bit I mean, if they were to get a turnout of, say, 10% of the population voting, do you think any of them would be like, do you think they'll still run around going, yeah, we want a majority, thumping majority, if you got 50% of 10%? Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so I got excited for a minute, and then I went to Jeremy Corbyn's Twitter account. I was like, oh, come on, let's give the old codger another go. Let's give the old Blarney some bit of the old boo-bar. Let's get back on board with Corby Wooby Woo-Boo, even though he can't be my MP. I was bored within the first 20 seconds. It's like, oh, Jeremy, Jezza. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not about, look, when you say, oh, well, he needs just a bit more charisma. And then lots of people come out and they go, it shouldn't be about charisma. It shouldn't be about egos. It shouldn't be about personality. It should be about policies. But none of them have got any policies. There's no policies. Basically, to run this country, there's an ever diminishing amount of money and there's an ever increasing amount of needs. It's as simple as that. There's no way around it. I think what they should do in the world is every single country should go, look, right, guys, they should get on a great big Zoom call and everyone should hover over a button that goes, right, when we press this button, if we all press it at the same time, everything's going to go to zero. America won't owe China anything. China won't owe, well, I don't think China owes anyone anything, do they? China won't need us for buying shit goods and Russia won't. So let's get on a Zoom call and everyone, and you can see them all. And they'll be like, okay, all right, yeah, okay. Trudeau, disappointment. You're a disappointment, Trudeau. You look so good, but you're a disappointment. Macron, where are you? Oh, Macron, good. Rishi, change. Here, yeah, I'm here, I'm ready to go. 6 pages to change the country. Press 0. And everything is brought back to. Why doesn't everyone just agree? Why doesn't just every country just agree? Just zero it. You ready, Keir? Ready? Oh, Keir didn't press the button. Change, go and change. Anyway, so I went to Jezza and I was like, oh, Jezza. Boring. But anyway, it was a 3-minute. I literally got 15 seconds in. You know that thing they say on social media? You've got 3 seconds to grab someone. I mean, it's terrible. It's so short, but it's true. Oh, I don't know. What's this image here? Oh, I've got another great image here. Look at this. Look at that. Rishi, considering the possibility of becoming an alcoholic, I think he's just looking at that going, do you know what? I've seen a way out of this fucking hell. I've seen a way out. I'm going to milk that bottle. That looks like a sort of udder milker, doesn't it? He's like, give me that bottle. Get me out of here. And the guy on the right's laughing, going, yeah, it's water from Devon. Yeah. So that's the word change. Change. Oh, and fake laughter. Oh. I'm so looking forward to this election campaign. Okay, spoil the ballot paper seems to be coming through an awful lot. Okay, spoil the ballot paper. I mean, well, how do you do that? Do you use it like toilet roll? What would happen if? I think everyone should go in, and I'm going to be childish, and I know it annoys some people. Go in, pick a bogey, wipe it on it. Just do it. Is that a spoil the vote? If the vote's not high enough, though, I mean, is there a benchmark? Like, if less than 10% voted, would they have to go, oh, we've got to do a rematch? Is there anyone that turns around to these politicians and go, you were shit? You were all shit. I mean, if it was a TV show, you'd be decommissioned or you wouldn't get recommissioned. It's like, hang on, guys. You've only mobilized 10% of the country. You're shit. Do it again. Go out and do it again. Ugh. You write on it, none of the above, do you? And is that no bogey? You don't put a bogey or anything like that. People didn't like Rishi when during the debates with Liz Truss, he kept interrupting her. Wonder if he does that in his election, will people think the same of him, says Hannah Liebschutz. Well, interesting you should say that. One of Rishi's startling maneuvers is he's throwing the gauntlet at Keir Starmer, and he said, I will do 6 debates with you, you change monster. And Keir's answer is, I'm really happy to do debates, but not lots and only with people. I think if Keir Starmer doesn't do a debate, he's going to look like a chicken. He's always very good in the House of... Well, I mean, when I say good, I mean, it always seems he can avail himself quite well at Prime Minister's questions. What's he afraid of? So Rishi's really got the bit between his teeth. He's like, come on, let's do... He wants to do a debate every day. It's getting a bit much. I mean, he can't do a debate every day. But I think they're trying to turn this into, Keir's running scared. I just don't think Keir... you know what? I don't actually think Keir knows what's going on either. I think when I look into his eyes, I see nothing. I hear just the empty sounds of emptiness. There's just nothing there. If you look deeply into Keir's eyes, I see nothing. I feel nothing. I hear nothing. I sense nothing. And in Rishi's, it's just total and constant bemusement. He can't believe, I think Rishi can't believe when he's walking around the world. The reason he's always like that and sort of like, is he can't believe how real the world is because he hasn't been in the real world. So there we go. Anyway, on to other news. More seriously, this is serious news. This is in Majorca. This is an absolute horror story in Majorca. A rooftop bar, or a beach restaurant, Majorca beach restaurant, it unveiled a rooftop bar, and then a terrace collapsed last night whilst people were dancing on it. And I think it was, they've killed 3 women and a man. Yeah, 4 people have died, 3 women and a man. And they'd only opened the day before. There no trigger warnings here. You're not going to see anything. We're going to see sort of the emergency scene in photographs. We're not going to see any, but it a real scene of devastation. It's weird when I go abroad. I'm always wary of, and always have been in Europe. I don't know why Europe. I mean, always wary of balconies. Always. I don't know whether it's because, when you travel through these countries, you see these, the tops of buildings with just the kind of iron struts sticking out. These are obviously some of the survivors and the emergency services there. Tragically sad. It's just, and that's a sort of evolving story. But I mean, imagine just being on holiday and dancing upstairs, and then the whole thing just coming down. So that story is everywhere today and is an evolving story, which let's just hope there aren't any more casualties. And also just on the air turbulence story, by all accounts, I think something like 5 of the passengers are still in hospital with severe injuries to their spines, spinal injuries, and brain injuries, neurological injuries. I mean, I think the turbulence was so horrific. And do remember, it's always very, very, very rare for that sort of thing to happen. Although, I mean, turbulence isn't rare, but yeah. So 4 dead, with people trapped under rubble, is reporting the Telegraph. They think and they worry that 2 floors may have collapsed. And they at 10:38 p.m. Last night, the first floor of the beach club gave way. Just awful. In other news, one of the other big stories that's kind of in the papers today, pub drinkers are being shortchanged by short measures of beer and wine. So not only, I mean, it can often seem like we're being quite contradictory. On the one hand, alcohol is a scourge and it's dangerous, but most people do it, so everyone drinks it, and it's prohibitively expensive. And we've talked about the costs and we've talked about the implications, and I'm a recovering alcoholic and all that malarkey. But I have to say, if you're going in to buy a pint innocently and you're not a problem drinker and you just want a nice pint with your mates, I think it's outrageous when you're paying what you're paying now, by all accounts, nearly £9 in some areas for a pint. They're not filling it to the top. I always remember going out with, I had a friend, in fact, he was a friend, but he was a lecturer. He was a film lecturer. And whenever we went to the pub together, he would always, however high however big the head on the beer was, he'd always say, "Can you top that up?" And I'd go, "But you can't get any more in it." And he'd always be like, "Yes, you can." And I'm like, "But mate, you're going to get like nothing in it. You're going to get the saliva deposit that will be left at the bottom anyway." Do you know someone who's like, I get a little bit embarrassed about that. I don't know why. I get a bit cringe. I get a bit cringe when people actually createaholic. Fair question. How can people afford to drink out? It's ludicrous. And we wonder why kids are getting annihilated drunk in parks. So this is Trading Standards investigation says that customers are losing up to £114 a year. Pubgoers are being ripped off, with more than 2/3 of beer and wine sold in UK pubs being short measured. I suppose if you're serving, like, think of Wetherspoon, if you're serving like just thousands of even glasses of wine, and you just don't quite serve it to there, you're going to save a bottle, aren't you, across time? That's a margin. That's a margin. Erin, cheaper to buy herbs. What, like oregano? Do you get high on oregano? I know what you're saying, Erin. I know where you're at. I know what's going on. I know what you're up to. I know what you're doing. Only joking. Good Shop Lollipop. I noticed down south we like it to the brim. Up north they're less bothered. It's possibly because it's half the price. Do you think? I think there's something about someone who goes, "Fill it." I find it a bit. It's like, fill that pint. Sorry, it's Friday. There's always a little bit of kind of euphoric recall. Like, I'm going to have a drink later. But of course I'm not. I'm not. Even for those of you who think I am, I'm not. So yeah, people are being shortchanged. Of the short measures measured, 41 were under by 5% or more. The survey found that 86% of all beer ordered was short measured. 86%? That means no one's getting a full pint. Good grief. Good grief. Outrageous. In other more serious news, again, bouncing back to serious, the ICJ today will be issuing its ruling on Israel's war in Gaza. I think it's at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock UK time. The International Court of Justice is expected to issue a new ruling on Israel's conduct in Gaza. This is since South Africa brought an extra kind of, has tried to bring an extra kind of case against Israel for their Rafah invasion. Now, you've probably noticed in the press lots of headlines going, Rafah invasion is off and Rafah isn't happening. And Rafah is a sort of an intense, what's it called? It's a sort of, it's a concentrated kind of mission, or it's a measured kind of, invasion. And whatever it is, they're not saying it is what it is, which is a massive ground invasion. Because of course, if they say that, everyone's going to go, no. But I don't know if anyone else has seen this. I think the finance minister for Israel has said he's going to stop the Palestinian Authority. He's going to prevent everyone in the West Bank getting the tax that they've raised from selling all their goods as a country. They're not going to give it to them because of Norway, Spain, and Ireland recognize them as an independent state. So they're now going to. This is financially besieging. I mean, there's no move that the Israeli government isn't willing to make. It's like they're getting more vicious and more cunning with every moment that goes by. I mean, how does this help? And interesting report just briefly on the Gaza Israel crisis. The result of and I can't stress to you, the astonishingly, oppressive actions of the Israelis and settlers in the West Bank, support and sympathy for Hamas is on the increase there as more and more Palestinians. If you want to look at the DNA or examine the DNA of how Hamas or a sympathy within Palestinians towards Hamas can evolve, just keep watching and keep searching for the news stories around the West Bank now, because we're watching it happen. And you can well imagine that given the astonishingly sort of in plain sight, Machiavellian kind of actions of the Israeli government, I think that's precisely what they're after. They want to nudge the population of the West Bank towards an extremism born of desperation so that they can hammer down even harder there again. So anyway, so the ICJ announcement will happen today. If there's big news there, we may well update and go live on that too. And what was the final story? We're going to go. Has anyone? I just want to ask you guys this: has anyone heard of a TikTok train spotter called Francis Bourgeois? Oh my God, I find him so life affirming. Does anyone know him? I haven't got a picture of him, unfortunately. I just found this. This just popped up on my BBC newsfeed. TikTok train spotter Francis Bourgeois. Does anyone know him? Is it loose, Hannah? I've got a model railway that runs all the way around my flat, says TikTok train spotter. He's a unique kind of internet celebrity. He's into trains, and he films trains, and he jumps on trains, and he has train spotting reactions, and he's so full of excitement and fizz. Jola4381, love Francis, been watching him on Instagram for years. He's a legend, says Matt Roth. He really is a legend. Bourgeois, real name Luke Nicholson, grew up in northwest London near Willesden. And he said his parents didn't own a car, so he travelled to school by rail. I just thought everyone loved trains, he says earnestly. He stands on platforms filming them and filming himself, and his enthusiasm. Karen Rogers, your daughter loves him. He wears his camera on his head. That's it. Am I imagining it? Or is this the guy? Did he meet Prince William and Princess Catherine? Did he meet them? Did he meet William and Kate with his headgear on? I think it is. Spark of sheer joy, says Anna Marie Shellard. He's a spark of joy. My son showed me his videos last year. Yes, my husband watches him, Sandy. Oh, if you want some fun, go and check him out. I'll find a couple of reels to show you on the Coffee Moaning Papers tomorrow. Oh my God, we shot. It's a live Curly Cooks tomorrow, but it's a. I think it's school dinners part 2. I think we're doing savoury. I hope I'm doing a spam fritter. But oh my God, we shot such a brilliant pre-recorded Curly Cooks that's going to be landing, I think, around June 15th or around there somewhere. But oh my God, yeah, we had a guest and she was sensational. So yes, what am I doing here? Get rid of that. Oh no, I've just got rid of the story that I wanted to look at. Hang on a minute. Oh yeah, look at this. This is fun. The Independent's got a piece. The signs you're a typical British holidaymaker, from packing your own tea bags to an airport full of English. Full English. What do you do when you go abroad? How do you make, we've talked a lot about how us Brits, we need to take Britain with us. We don't like foreign countries being foreign countries. We want here, there. The fact that global Armageddon is bringing us the weather we seek elsewhere makes you wonder, why don't we just stay here? Because we've got it all. We've got PG tips, and now increasingly we've got sun. But this is a kind of light-hearted piece saying new research has revealed the top 20 signs of a quintessentially British holidaymaker. The poll of 2,000 Brits found that UK tourists are often only bilingual in please and thank you, and have a habit of travelling with home luxuries. According to the research by Leica Mobile, 27% of British people enjoy full English before taking off at the airport. 48% of travellers text a family that they've landed safely on the other side. Oh, God. Other holiday traits attributed to us include queuing patiently whilst everyone else runs past you, captioning holiday albums with never coming home. God, are we this predictable? It's so sad, isn't it? Heading to the airport with a burnt forehead despite wearing Factor 50 sun cream. That's true. Of the Brits surveyed, do you miss these things? 44% said they pine for their pillow when travelling. I kind of get that. I mean, I've stayed in places, certainly when I was younger, where the pillows felt like they contained sawdust. So Brits pine for their pillow, then followed by pining for tea, and that's nads all over, pining for TV, get you, bacon, and cheddar cheese. Wow. The research highlighted that mobile phones as a lifeline for British tourists, insistent on checking the weather, navigating and accessing online banking, with 63% worried about data roaming. So let's go through top 20 quintessentially British holidaymaker traits. I want you to tell me which of these are you. 1, arriving at the airport 4 hours before your flight. Is that you? That's me. Packing your own tea bags. I've never done that, but Nads has. There's nothing worse than those Lipton tea bags, is there? Taste of nothing. 3, texting a family to let them know you've landed safely. I think that's quite sensible. 4, only being able to say please and thank you. We've done that. Queuing patiently. 6, having a designated wallet for your holiday documents. Oh, the order and organisation. Imagine having a could you imagine either me or Nats having a designated wallet for your holiday documents? Number 7, feeling nervous at security or guilty. Number 8, packing 2 weeks before the trip, 32%. Packing two weeks. I pack six minutes before the trip. Do any of you? Bev Berry, oh bless, never been on holiday for 35 years. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Don't worry, the sun is coming here. The sun is coming here. Number 9, apologising profusely to the passenger next to you when you need the loo. That's just courtesy, isn't it? I mean, I must admit, are you one of those passengers that if someone gets on, sits on you, rubs your face into the chair in front, knuckle dusts your head, you turn to them and go, so sorry, so sorry. Number 10, enjoying a full English at the airport. Number 11, declaring loudly, feel that heat. That's me. Feel that heat. It's like a wall of heat. Do you say that? Feel that heat. Love it. Number 12, despite wearing factor 50, you still have a burnt forehead. I'm presuming that's on the way back. Number 13, checking if everyone has been to the loo before boarding the plane. Yes. I did it with kids. I don't know if we've ever done that thing. Have you been to the loo? I think when people want to go to the loo, even kids, they go to the loo, don't they? Do you ever? I mean, I can't actually honestly say someone said, have you been to the loo? And I've gone like this. I've gone, oh, hang on, let me just visit my bladder. Oh, no, I haven't actually. Does that happen for anyone? Have you ever been asked, have you been to the loo? And you go, oh, God, of course I haven't. My nan, my dear late nan, she'd shout across the road in Boscombe on the south coast, do you need a wee? I'm like, Nan. And then my armpits would sweat because I'm sweaty. And then she'd say, you smell a BO, son. And I'd be like, I'm not your son. I'm your grandson. Number 14, organising a dedicated holiday WhatsApp group. That's nads. 15, the urge to get off the plane as quickly as possible. Well, yes, when you've seen the horrendous Singaporean story. 16, battling to find the best place to pick up your bags from the luggage belt. Where do you go? Are you one of those at the luggage belt? This is funny. Are you one of those that goes, if I get off the plane quickly, I will shoot right to the source of the belt. I'll get there and I'll be like, I'm first. And then suddenly you get surrounded and then suddenly you're like, and then you start to look at people like, hang on a minute, I haven't got enough room to get my arm in to get that suitcase. And then you start to think when you get to a little over 50, you start to think, if I pivot when I pull that big case off, am I going to do my back in? Or are you one of those? Has your holiday been so chilled? You know how chilled your holiday's been when you get back and you go, do you know what? Do you do that on the plane? You go, I'm not going to rush. Let's let everyone else off. And then as soon as they start getting off, you rush. No amount of saying, let's not rush. Let's just let everyone get quick. And then a part of you also says to yourself, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait at the very far end. I'm going to be the last person to get their luggage. And usually when you are that chilled, which is very rarely for me, and you're, little thoughts going through your head, especially if you've come from somewhere out of Europe and you're thinking, oh my God, has someone slipped heroin into my fucking luggage? What do I do? And I go through customs and they find heroin. Oh my God, what about that trip we all did back in, you haven't those sorts of thoughts. And then they come through and then you're like, oh, and then they don't come through. Oh, the number of McLaren fucking buggies that just never came through. Number 17, taking poolside selfies with the caption, never coming home. 18, packing a jar of Marmite. 19, being obsessed with the positioning of the parasol above your lounger. That is Nat. I mean, Jesus. I mean, she needs a permanent parasol maneuverer. And ending up running for the gate every time, 11%. Well, I think actually a more common thing than running for the gate is jumping up and standing and queuing when you know that you're going to be standing queuing for days. My line on all that is, I hate the stress of thinking I can't fit my luggage in the thing above. Does anyone else get that? It really stresses me out. It's like, we've got to get on first because I want to get, and And there's never room, is there? There's never room for, and you think, what's going to happen here if there is literally no room? And having seen the Singaporean, we're going to be able to say to everyone now, all of those air hostesses, I saw what happened with the Singaporean one. Where am I going to put my bag? Anyway, there we go. Okay, so quiz of the week. For those of you who don't do quiz of the week, cheerio. We'll see you tomorrow for lots of fun and galumphing and silliness and fun in the kitchen and coffee moaning papers. But now we're going to do the quiz of the week. So let me just pull it up here. Get your pens and papers. If you do it on pens and paper, it's very analog. I mean, a lot of people don't use pens and paper anymore, do they? I remember when I was younger, when I was a student, I used to have a callus. Sorry to stick my finger up at you. I used to have a callus there from writing, but now everything's like that, or like that, or like that, or like that. See you, Matt. Have a lovely day, Squire. Remember the slogan for Labour: change, change, change. So here we go. Question 1, quiz of the week. What North Korean, birthdays, hang on. I've got a Kayla. Is there anyone else's birthday here? Anyone else's birthday? Happy birthday, Kayla. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kayla. Happy birthday to you. Mark, can I get a birthday shout out tomorrow? I've never had one and I've been here since the very beginning of the weekend. Happy birthday to you, Sarah. Happy birthday to you, Sarah, for tomorrow. Happy birthday, dear Sarah D, for tomorrow. Happy birthday to you. I hope you got that. Remind us again tomorrow and Nadia will do it for you, Sarah D. Sarah D, Sarah D. Okay, question 1. South Korea said it would ban a viral North Korean propaganda tune glorifying Pyongyang's dictator Kim Jong-un, which had become a hit on TikTok. What's the song called? So South Korea is going to ban a viral North Korean propaganda tune. In fact, I had this in my phone. I was going to play this to you guys at some point, but it disappeared. What was the name of the song? Is it A, Friendly Father, B, Song of Happiness, or C, We Will Follow You Only? You can go to Spotify. Is it on Spotify? It would be interesting. Oh, Stacey, I saw Stacey in the room. She's gone nuts again, you sweetie, you naughty, naughty too. Thank you, Stacey. Very kind. 10 of you are now going to suddenly get memberships and you'll be able to tune in and watch. Is it live this weekend? No, it's not live this week. It's an edited show this weekend. Is it A, Friendly Father, B, Song of Happiness, C, We Will Follow You Only? It's lots of you saying C. It's A, Friendly Father. Question 2, Australia's richest woman, Gina Rinehart, asked the country's National Gallery to remove a painting of her from an exhibition. We talked about this at the beginning of the week. Portraits coming out everywhere. Which of these is not included in the collection of portraits of people who've helped shape Australia? A, guitarist Jimi Hendrix, B, singer Kylie Minogue, or C, AC/DC guitarist Angus Young? Which of those wasn't featured in that collection of portraits in which Gina Rinehart hated her own? Is it A, guitarist Jimi Hendrix, B, singer Kylie Minogue, or C, AC/DC guitarist Angus Young? Very good, Miss P. And what have we got here? Yes, some of you saying B. It's B. Singer Kylie Minogue wasn't featured. Wow, she hasn't helped shape the country. No, but she helped shape my 1990s. Question 3. Olivia and Noah remain England and Wales's. Oh, look, we did these stories too. If you've been listening to Coffee Moaning, you'll know all the answers. Can't get any higher. Miss P, you might be the only non-member. Who knows? Olivia and Noah remained England and Wales' most popular baby names, according to the annual report from the Office of National Statistics. Which girl's name has seen the biggest leap in popularity since 2012? A, Elodie, B, Nova, or C, Ottilie? Which of those girls' names saw the biggest leap in popularity since 2012? A, I've never heard anyone called any of these. A, Elodie, B, Nova Scotia, or C, Ottilie? I see the Nova's a supernova. Sorry. Ottilie. Oh, there used to be, I think there was a book that the girls used to read. It's Nova. There's been a huge increase in Nova as we become more star-like. Question 4, Hollywood actress Scarlett Johansson was shocked and angered after OpenAI launched a chatbot with an eerily similar voice to hers. What was the chatbot's name? A, her, B, Juniper, or C, Sky? Clue here is it's not her, because that was the film in which she was the voice of a chatbot by AI. Maybe that's why they chose her voice. Her voice does have, there's something wondrous about her voice. Stacey, naughty, 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 stoppy, stoppy, stoppy. You're very sweet, Stace. She's trying to pick you up, Miss P, I think. Trying to get you hooked in the net of loviness and loveliness. Which of those, what's the name of the AI voice that has an eerily similar voice to Scarlett? Is it A, her, B, Juniper, C, Sky? You're right, lots of you are right, it's Sky. Question 5, Manchester City beat West Ham to become the first team to win the English League title in 4 consecutive seasons. Wow. Which was the last team to beat the champions in a Premier League match? Which of these beat Man City last? A, Arsenal. B, Aston Villa, geezer. B, Liverpool. Which of those teams last beat Man City? Was it A, Arsenal, B, Aston Villa, or C, Liverpool? Lots of you saying Arsenal. Well, Anna Sharon Olympus and Lutina says. Julie, the singing nutcase, is right. She says Aston Villa, and you're spot on. Up the Midlands. Question 6. The judge in Donald Trump's hush money trial cleared the courtroom to reprimand a witness as the case neared its end. Which associate of the former president called Justice Juan Merchan to take the unusual measure? Was it A, lawyer Michael Cohen, B, lawyer Robert Costello, or C, former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani? I can never say his name. Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani. Which of those caused the justice to take the unusual measure of clearing the courtroom to reprimand him? Anna Chalmers is saying B, Lynn Sheard is saying B. You're right, it's the lawyer Robert Costello. Final question. Anyone on 6? Anyone on 6? Oh, this is a contentious topic. You ready? The Chelsea Flower Show open to the public, don't tell that, with this year's displays focusing on sustainability, climate change, and the next generation. Clearly, Nadia isn't part of that next generation. Who placed a seedling from the felled sycamore gap tree in one of the show's gardens? Oh, that would have been great to see, Nance, wouldn't it? Was it A, Dame Judi Dench, B, Jessica Ennis-Hill, or C, Queen Camilla? Which of those placed a seedling from the felled sycamore gap tree? Dame Judi Dench, A, B, Jessica Ennis-Hill, or C, Queen Camilla? It was A. I got 6. I fell at the last hurdle because, of course, we weren't at the Chelsea Flower Show, so I didn't know who did that. But if Nadia had been, she'd have told me, and we'd have known. But let's not open that can of worms. Let's not. Stacey, you've been incredibly generous. Guys, lots of love. Something will land later. Obviously, for any movie fans, the film of the weekend is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. So a review of that will be landing at some point. Otherwise, have a lovely day. And remember, change. Keir Starmer wants